Yeah, they did a great job on their preparation, and in the game, I thought our coverage was really good. Those guys really answered the bell and rose up to the challenge. And I thought our guys inside was another game for us to get an opportunity to get better, and I thought we improved. And I thought there's some plays in there that our guys can be able to learn from, and got in a great rhythm, with the offense, early in the game. But really, again, had just a terrific mindset, going on the road and playing at night. It's not an easy thing to do. Circumstance, just laying around the hotel all day, and a lot of things going on, around the country in college football, and it's easy to get caught up in the emotions of other games, and it's a hard thing to do when you're passionate about it and you're invested, as our guys are. So I thought they did a great job of just really focusing in on our game and simplifying things for themselves so they can play at a high level.
You got any guys lobbying you to lobby Dabo on their behalf to be part of the jumbo package yet?
Nobody talks to me about it. Nope. Yep, I don't have that kind of pull.
Do you think Newman's got NFL talent from what you've seen?
No question. Terrific quarterback. Just got great poise, accuracy, got great arm strength, really live arm, and can run, doesn't get rattled, got a really good disposition about him, excellent skill, understands their system very well, and he's hard to handle, really hard to handle.
What do you see in their three wide receivers? They're big and physical, probably the biggest group you've seen this year so far.
Yeah, they're big and very athletic and tremendous ball skills, and run great routes, really understand leverage and coverage, and then you got this, the slot, Hinton. It's a really good player. I thought, wow, great, Dortch is done, and sure enough, we got another, tough matchup, tough on most people. So they're doing a great job, and they always do. Very well coached, very disciplined, and a terrific O-line as well.
Brent, how crazy is it the run you guys have been on as a unit? I think 13 straight, 4 teams under 20 points, and then the under 300-yard streak you're on. In this day and age of college football.
I don't know, crazy or not. We've got good players, and we've had, for the most part, we've had good continuity, and not having guys that are here just for 1 or 2 years, transfers and things of that nature, I think really helps us to have a little carryover from year to year. And so it's good. It's kind of, again, it's a standard. You don't certainly take it for granted. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it, tremendous investment and commitment to be able to perform at that high level, and again, sustaining the success, sustaining the competitive drive is a big deal, and it's hard to do. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and so it's not just showing up on game day. It's everything else in between, which makes it even harder. It's recovering from arrive at 5 in the morning road trip and get right back into your routine, or guys that are on the verge of leaving, finishing their careers, staying focused. Again, I know Coach says it all the time. What's up, David? Hey, man. But it's, maintaining 2 hands on the wheel, and all of us, that's what it takes, and that's why you see teams again that go through things, near the end of the year. I think that's a big part of it.
That delayed mesh point that Wake employs, how do they use that to their advantage?
Excuse me?
That delayed mesh point on the handoff that Wake employs, how do they use that to their advantage?
And just challenge your discipline, It's a scheme, it's a structure, it's a philosophy, so they just challenge your discipline. It's literally as simple as that. It's discipline and coverage, discipline and gap integrity, all those things. And, they're just baiting you.
Watching the replay the other night, I saw the joy on your face. You call it the run blitz, and Skalski kind of forces that fumble. Are those the moments that for you that this is why, I love doing what I do, this is why I love it, or is it more the moments of practice, or maybe when you see a guy?
Well, I think it's all of it, whether it's, you know, it's really within the game what a critical mistake that is, you know, where you're able to go on the road and create momentum, drain the opponent, because you give the offense the ball down there, they're going to score. And so it's really just what a great moment in the game, you know, that can be the play of the game, something that's kickstarts something, or, you know, creates this avalanche, or, you know, those kind of, you know, those are huge plays in any game, and but particularly early, where you're trying to, everybody at both sides are trying to get settled in and feel each other out. You know, the aggression paid off. It doesn't always pay off, you know, and there it did. So all of, you know, just a lot of different things that go into it. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. That's what you put your heart into it. You know, you got to celebrate when you're having some success.
This group of seniors hasn't gotten as much fanfare as maybe as last year's group, but Tanner, Kayvon, Niles, Chad Smith, Denzel, how special has this group been to you?
Yeah, it's great, man. They've just been the model of consistency and very committed guys. And, you know, guys like, you know, Chad and Denzel really had to be patient, but, you know, we still ask every bit as much from them as we do anyone else. And but, you know, the patience has paid off, and the belief, they've had tremendous roles and have had a huge part in the success that we've had, whether they've been a starter or not. You know, great contributors and examples for what it should be all about. And you know, just it's neat to see them, you know, having a lot of success here, you know, as leaders of our program. Well deserved.
Sorry about that.
We good?
Brent, it's a little bit off the path, but what makes somebody good at getting sacks?
I mean, instincts. You got to have a good get off, and you got to understand leverage and how to create, you know, edges, and, you know, you got to have a game plan, and you have to execute it with precision and violence, speed, explosiveness. You know, you got to be a good athlete. Always helps, but just being a master at the details, but really, as much as anything, it's really understanding hand combat, creating edge, getting off, and you know, having some instincts for it.
You know, I wonder if there's any rhyme or reason to it, because I imagine that you've had good linemen, good players who don't wind up with a lot of sacks, but you've also had probably guys maybe you didn't think were going to get a bunch of sacks, and they wind up with a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I think some guys are better, you know, with their hands and with their get off, and, you know, the, you know, twitchiness. You know, a guy like Grady Jarrett could just, man, he could just turn them shoulders. You know, from an inside standpoint, he didn't get stuck down the middle of people. A guy like Vic Beasley just had a crazy get off, and a guy like Shaq is different because he'd put his weight on him. He'd get the edge, and then he'd put his weight on him. He's a very naturally heavy-handed guy, very different than a guy like Vic Beasley, but every bit as effective. He maybe in some ways even more effective. At least certainly he was in college. The disruptiveness from a physical standpoint, but he had a great get off too. And then you see, again, like a guy like Kevin Dodd that really mastered his get off, and then his ability to see hands and control a lineman by controlling their hands. And when you control their hands, you control their feet. And so some of that's developed through time. Some guys that naturally have gifts for it.
As a teacher, when you're teaching this style, is it, okay, you know, we need to finish as well as do everything?
Yeah, hey man, getting there is really hard, but finishing's, you know, that's even harder. Too many guys, again, they take one hand off the wheel. You've done all the hard work, now finish. And certainly there's an art to the finish as well, without question.
Going back to, I guess, NC State, is there more of your approach to the game sort of different, knowing that he's been experienced, the quarterback was an inexperienced guy?
Maybe. You still have to focus on, you know, big picture, scheme, matchup, strategy, without, you know, you always want to be conscious of who their playmakers are. And, but, I mean, sometimes that's a part of it, sometimes it's not. going to affect every quarterback that you go up against, and you do that in different ways. But I think sometimes too much is made of that. When you get to definitive passing situations, sure, but as the staple of your game plan, I'm not so sure that's the case.
During the game, could you tell you guys rattled him pretty early?
I don't know. I thought he was pretty tough. He hung in there well and handled some adversity well. That's kind of how I saw him. When we watched him, he was exactly the same. He didn't panic when here comes the pressure. He stayed strong in the pocket and threw the ball to the right spots. I watched him. I thought, well, that's the guy. You know, wonder what. You know, I'm sure that he's still a young guy. He had done the right things up to that point, but he looked very poised and instinctive to me. And prior to our game, and then even during our game, I thought he did a nice job.
If you had to guess how many hours of film you watch a day, what would that number be?
Oh, I don't know. It's not all day. You know, a lot of it's you watching film, and you know, until you get your game plan down, you know, you're watching a lot of film on Sunday and Monday, and then after that, you're watching some situational football throughout the week, and you're watching your own practice tape, you know, and then you're watching small cut-ups with your players, things that you want them to see. I don't know. That's hard to say. Maybe 6 to 8 hours on Sunday, 6 to 8 hours on Monday, and then after that, I don't know, half of that probably would be accurate, maybe a little more.
Talk about the long wait for the players with a night game. Are you watching any other college football
Yeah,
as you're
yeah.
waiting?
Yeah, I like to keep preparing and having games on. I like to keep preparing though. You know, you got your computer with your cut-ups, you got your game on, and I like to practice. What would I call here? You know, here it is. Make a call. You know, that's kind of fun. Sometimes you just turn the TV down and have it on too, just because you love what you do. You know, it's not like, oh my God, if they win, or God, then that puts us here. That's not part of it. Just I like to watch, and you love what you do. You love what other people do. You like watching it, and I don't watch the ball very much. I watch the strategy. You know, where's everybody lined up? What's that blitz? You know, the only thing about going on the road, you don't have TiVo. You can't rewind it. But so.
What did you think of the strategy in LSU Alabama?
Well, I just saw a little bit. So, looked like a bunch of great players on both sides of the ball. A lot of skill. It was pretty frightening watching it. So, I was. Yeah, that when you start watching that high level of skill, both quarterback and scheme, and then the players, that can get a little overwhelming. But that looked pretty good to me. I hated it for those defensive coordinators. Looked like a lot of problems, you know, that you have to solve against those guys.
Brent, were you able to chat or contact with Chad at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's he doing?
Probably as good as you could.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard thing, you know, in this profession. It's a performance-based profession. It's a very, you know, it's a very emotional thing. Everybody, you know, a lot of people relying on you, counting on you, and it's a lot of the weight of the world on you. You know, starting with his family and those players and those coaches, and so, you know, we're competitive guys. We're you know, we're happy when we're winning. You know, when you're having success, and so it's a tough thing to go through for him. Yeah.
Brent, before the season, pointed to Skalski as something that could be in line for a really big year. How did you evaluate his performance?
Yeah, and he could have been player of the week 4 or 5 times. He's had a tremendous season. He kind of got settled down early. Our backers were kind of not finishing plays as well as we are now. We're doing a much better job. Still got work to do, but he's had a really good year. He's been a great leader for us, and he's really smart. He's usually in a great position, plays fast, and he's tough and physical, and really cares about everybody on that defense. So, you know, he really cares how we do, how we perform, and he's a very selfless guy, but he's done terrific.
What were those 4 or 5 weeks that he could have won?
I don't know what games. I lose track of who we played last week. If you hadn't reminded me, I'd like who. I really do. You remember the schemes, but you forget the teams. But you know, he won it this week, so. But I can't remember. He's had a great year.
What do you think of his extra point?
Oh man, he's been so money. He let the moment overwhelm him, and stage fright, and I'm surprised. But give him another chance. I'm a believer in him. So.